Hey there, my name is Rita Ricks, and I am so glad you all are joining us. And I'm especially glad because my guest is Glenn Murray. Glenn, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate being on.
I'm really glad to have you. And I actually have a shirt that states Wine Crawl on it. So you have been to Richmond before, we have met before, and I love the whole concept of Wine Crawl. So I
Well,
just
we're
want
here
to,
church Thursday when I see you then.
oh, I can make that work. I can make that work. We were just
Yeah.
trying to figure out what to wear. So Thursday, what we're talking about, everybody, is the exclusive blacklist that is this Thursday at Child Savers, and then on Friday it is going to be on the bottom floor of Main Street Station. We are going to have too much fun. There is a Saturday event which we are going to be at, so we're just kind of working through this whole event. And what I love about Benita is that she has amazing friends who are not from Richmond. So we get to meet people who are authentic and real. Thank you, Glenn, again for being here. So you are the founder of Wine Crawl. Let me just get that out of the way. And originally you're from Memphis. So
True.
give me some background. Bring me up to founder of Wine
Okay.
Crawl, please.
Okay. So Wine Crawl is now, I think it's 5 or 6 years old. So it's in the first grade, so to speak. But it was started, I went to Napa and I did a tour of Napa and I saw them doing these limo tours around Napa Valley, which I thought was a wonderful idea. So living in Chicago, I was living there and I had been doing a lot of different events because my company started out as an events company. And we'd done a lot of wine and charitable events around wine and done some tasting. So I was like, let me take that audience and see if they'd be interested in this. And we'll call it a crawl. And instead of a beer crawl, which is the traditional, what crawls were known as, we're going to call it a wine crawl. Not your father's crawl, not your father's beer crawl, something totally different. So we started out the first time, we sold it out. The second time, sold it out. Being the marketing person I am, I'm like, that is not a trend. That's just a blip on the radar. We're going to keep trying this and see if it works. So each season in Chicago, we did them. And they were really successful. People really liked them. It was something different. It was very, what do I want to say? Very unassuming. It was something that you could go to whether you knew wine or not and enjoy yourself, make new friends, and do things like that. We expanded to Atlanta maybe about 5, 6 years ago. And then when I came back to Chicago, I'd lived in Atlanta for a couple of years, came back to Chicago. Someone gave me the idea that said, hey, you should probably franchise this. You should really think about franchising. So that's when we started to franchise. We have franchisees in Birmingham, Richmond, of course, as you know, Benita, Atlanta. We had one in Dallas, but now we're looking for a new one. And then we just added one in the North Carolinas and the rest of Virginia. We have franchisees there, and Chicago, of course, where we started. So those are our franchisees right now. Then we have regional franchises where we do Napa trips. So I have a franchisee now that's working on what we call our destination crawls. So Napa, hopefully we'll be going to Temecula, Las Vegas, New York, because there's good wine everywhere. You just have to find it. And that's what we do in Wine Crawl. We help you find it.
That's awesome.
And good food too.
And good food. So,
Oh,
have you been a wine person all your life? Is this your career? Tell me about you.
absolutely not. I've taken a class on wine and I've drank a lot of wine. Those are my two qualifications right there
So
for me.
you took a class and then you got a graduate degree by drinking it.
Very much. I think I'm working
Got
on
it.
my PhD now on that one for drinking. But no, I really was late to the game of wine, drinking wine. I dated somebody, and I guess every good idea starts with a woman. Let's just put it out there. It does.
I got
Um,
that.
I was dating somebody, she was into wine, and then we started going to tastings, and that was fun. Um, we weren't together again, but then I went to Napa with another woman. These were years apart, so I don't want this to
Uh,
sound bad,
I'm
but
good. I'm good
she
with
was really into wine even more. So that really piqued my interest into kind of a better, higher level of tasting. So I really understood it better. And then going to Napa really just changes your outlook on wine.
why.
And
Tell me why. Why?
why? Because you start to drink and you start to understand the taste. You understand the different levels and you start to remember brands. And that's when it becomes familiar to you. And then you kind of develop what you like. Now, I'm a huge sparkling wine drinker. So I love sparkling and champagne. Those are probably my favorites. But I learned to appreciate reds. I learned to appreciate a really good red with a steak, a really good white with fish and chicken, things like that. So I really started to get into taste and understanding that a lot better from going to Napa. So I was able to take that knowledge, bring it back, pair it, and work with a number of really good somms in each one of those cities. And they really help do the work for us and really make it an appealing event. So I just go in and let them know, hey, people are going to range from first time drinking something dry to very experienced wine drinkers. So I need you to meet us in the middle and help us make it a real experience. And that's what we call it. It's not an event. It really is an experience where you go in there and you experience tasting wine, you experience really the food pairings and how that works. So, we've done some really cool things like wine and chocolate tastings, blindfolded tastings, all kinds of cool stuff.
Tell me about your first wine crawl. Tell me what you saw, because you saw it in Napa, right? And then you brought it back. So
I brought it back.
Tell me about that.
Well, a funny story, because as many events as I had planned, I really hadn't planned one with a bus, with a luxury coach. And it was a luxury coach. So it was 48 seats. Well, here's my problem. I sold 48 tickets. So I didn't get to sit on the bus on my first wine crawl. So I followed behind in my car. I followed the bus to each stop. Yes. So I put my coordinator on there, made sure she was on there to kind of keep everybody tame. And I followed in my car because I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot I didn't do that right. So true story. So I didn't get to experience the wine tour. I was more like the police escort or something that comes behind the bus. That was it. So that's
you were the chaperone.
I was the chaperone.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how many places do you typically go to? And tell us about how you connect with the restaurant ahead of time. Just tell us how it's done.
Sure. So
this is behind the scenes.
All right. So for a traditional crawl, there's two types of crawls we do. Traditional is the one that goes from point to point with either a limo or a luxury coach. Then there's the walking crawls, which is Bernita has made famous in Richmond, and we actually copied that in Atlanta at a couple of different places. But we usually go to 3 to 4 locations, and we stay in there an hour at each one doing a tasting and a pairing. Usually there's a sommelier who will come and talk to us about the pairings. Sometimes we'll rent out a private facility and bring in a wine brand and have either the owner come or one of their reps to come and tell us about it as well. I've really, one of the things I'm very proud of is we got to feature a lot of minority-owned wine vendors on these crawls, like Love Corkscrew, Shoe Crazy Wines, and a number of others just to name a few. But, we introduced them to a whole different audience. A lot of the wine crawl audience, I would say 70% of them are non-African American. So it really became about the experience, and wine is something that actually brings people together. And you understand it and you learn that people want good wine. They don't care who made it, but you need to be able to put it in front of them. And that's the one thing that I take pride that we've been able to do over these last 5 or 6 years.
That's awesome. So talk to me because I'm fascinated by the franchise.
Really?
Yes. Talk to me about that. I got Anita right here, but we'll talk about it.
She can always use some help because she has 17 jobs. So I think wine crawl was like her 13th, but she's gotten 4 jobs since then. But that's a whole other subject. About the franchises, yeah. So I decided definitely that I was spreading myself too thin because I had been to every wine crawl for the first 5 years of them. So I needed to figure out a way to scale it that really made sense. So what we've done is we've put together a training packet. We've put together information on the territory, on the different cities that wine crawl is in, and we provide marketing support. We do gathering of customers. We do save the dates to get people interested in it, things like that. We'll do research, and I've even hired on a part-time person who you can contract out to help you make the calls and organize it with the venues. But usually what we do is go to the venues and say, okay, we want to come in the middle of the day. And usually that's when nobody's there. So if you think about it, we pick times where we know they're going to be slow. And we're walking in with 20, sometimes we were walking in with 50 people. And they'd maybe have 2 people in their whole venue.
So it's not necessarily on a weekend.
No, not necessarily. They have been on the weekends, but usually it's in the afternoon. So we've done night ones, but usually those are more private. But yeah, we'll go into venues and we'll negotiate terms per person and for 3 or 4 tastings and pairings for each person, and that's how we price it. So we really provide a lot of support to the franchisees on really how to build it. We've written a blueprint on how to do that, so we have all that documentation. If it's a city we've been in before, we usually have a mailing list that they can actually use and leverage. We have probably about 6,000 people on our Facebook page. We have another few thousand on Instagram and on Twitter as well that we are constantly talking to, showing pictures of past crawls. So we really keep that audience engaged as well. And we do some targeted marketing when we're going into a new territory.
And so where are the cities now? Can you remember all of them?
Yes, Chicago, Atlanta, Birmingham, Richmond, Raleigh. We just launched in Raleigh a few months ago. And we will be going to Charlotte, DC, Bonita. That was for her.
That's number 16. That's number 16 job.
Yep, and Dallas. So that's where we are now. We're looking to add a franchisee in Dallas and a franchisee in Houston. So we're looking hard.
So Glenn,
Napa. Sorry, I forgot about Napa.
What are the prerequisites for becoming a franchisee?
You need to like people, have a little bit of interest in wine. We don't necessarily need you to be an alcoholic or anything. That it would help that you not be. Also, we would like to have somebody that just enjoys planning and really engaging and learning. I think that's the biggest thing. We need that enthusiasm. I need my franchisees to be really enthusiastic about the event and bringing people together and enjoying it. And you can make money on it too. So if that helps, it's a nice little part-time job.
Yeah, that sounds like so much fun. So, where were you before the Girlfriends and the Wine? Did you already own a business?
Alcoholic drinking gin. No, I'm joking. Where was I? So the parent company to Wine Crawl is called 220 Communications. So okay. 220 Communications has been around for quite a while. It literally started as an events company. And about 12 years ago, we launched a publishing arm. And we've published, I think, 70 books now to date. So, and we're still going strong. We had a couple of number ones. Speaking of Bonita, she's going to be in Faith, Failure, Success, book 3, called Turning Point. She's writing the book on that. So coming soon. So that was a plug. But that's what I was doing before then. And then I was doing events. I would do events geared toward the arts. So I was always into promoting music, art, and anybody doing really good things in the art and culture. And that's where it led to creating the publishing company.
Okay.
And Wine Crawl, I just kind of stumbled on Wine Crawl, but it started with me doing an event called Wines for a Cause. And Wines for a Cause, and also I did an event called Books and Bottles, which actually became a show that we do now on Indie Network as well. So those two things.
What network?
The Indie TV Network.
Yeah, good.
Books and Bottles, yes. Tune in. We're on summer break, but you can still see reruns.
So where do you see you 5 years from now, sir?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. I want to have franchisees in at least 20 different states, or 20 different cities, I should say, because there's some big cities in a couple of states where we can do 3 or 4. So I would love to have 20 of those. I'd love to retire from it and just go attend them. That would really be nice if I could just be there and not have to do too much work on them. I love doing that. Yeah. And just growing and enjoying things. That's really where I see myself.
It's so good to talk to you. It's so good to hear your energy because it's just jumping out. And at a time when, not everybody, but a lot of people have, left their jobs and they want to do something else. Mm-hmm. This to me is like, come on, This is almost a no-brainer. And for the entrepreneurs that continue to grow in COVID and now are opening up for others to come on board, is just really good. So I see your IG address. What else? Where else can they find you?
They can contact me directly, Glenn at 220communications.com. That's the parent company website, so they can find me there. Facebook, Glenn Murray. You can find us there, or Wine Crawl. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on IG as well.
Good. So looking forward to seeing you. We met just before COVID. And I look forward to seeing you again. It's going to be so much fun. She's got all kinds of great folks coming, and
Can't wait.
you know, nobody does it like Benita.
I know.
Nobody does
That
it.
Blacklist, the gala is something else.
Yeah,
The
it
part
is.
I can remember from the last two times I went there, because
Exactly.
there's a lot of wine there. But if you ever want to go and see like the Super Bowl of African American winemakers, you
Uh-huh.
should go to the Blacklist. You should come on Friday night to check that out, because
That's right.
you won't see a heavier concentration
That's
of
right.
winemakers of color than you
And
will at this event.
And here's the thing: you guys come from all over. That's the thing that I love about it. You all are coming from all over to support Benita here in Richmond. So I appreciate you saying that. It is absolutely great. And I will see you on Thursday.
See you Thursday. Thank you for
Yeah,
having me.
thank you so much for being on.
All right.
Hugs. Bye bye.
Bye bye.